What's going on, everybody? So what are you prepping for? What specific event are you preparing for, and how do your preps correlate with what you're preparing for? Myself, I've said it before, I'm pretty much seeing the whole economic collapse thing, and I have prepared fairly well for that, I feel like. Certain ways, food, which goes along with just about every prep, water, ways of getting water, defensive tools so that you can defend what you have. With an economic collapse, something more along the lines of Great Depression or worse is really what I have been preparing for and just being able to attempt to weather that storm. And now I feel like I've kind of turned into a little bit of myself, so now I'm going to be doing more stuff geared towards that, dealing with lack of power, whether it be rolling blackouts, whether it be controlled power issues, whatever that may mean, whatever it might come to. Too bad of a storm, you don't have power for a month in the middle of winter. And I think some of it is getting inside my head from hearing all this dark winter talk. But it's a actual thing. It could actually happen. I told the story before when my daughter was first born, how the East Coast lost power for 5 days or whatever. It was springtime, summertime-ish, so it wasn't real crazy as far as winter. But would you be able to make it 2 weeks without heat in your house? Pretty much everybody could probably make it without the lights and stuff, and this wouldn't be necessarily EMP, but it could be shut down from some sort of crazy regulation or just overall grid issue, especially with something like an economic collapse. If you're making $25 an hour, we'll say, and a loaf of bread is $50 because of hyperinflation and every other economic situation that could have possibly happened just smashed, well, you're probably not going to stay working for $25 an hour when it takes you 2 hours to get a loaf of bread. You see where I'm going with this? So nobody's going to be working at the power plant, right? If they switch it up and go on to something else, there's just so many options that you could see where the power could have an issue. And it goes in with that economic collapse a little bit. I really do think we'll probably end up having some sort of an issue with that. I don't know when. I don't know how. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's pushing us in that direction purposefully, which is ridiculous. That's a whole nother video. But I just want to say, whatever you're preparing for, make sure your preps go hand in hand with what you're preparing for. If you're preparing for an economic collapse, you're going to have everything that has to do with that idea. Some people might be preparing for hurricanes. There's not necessarily an economic collapse involved with a hurricane. It could end up hurting wherever it hit that economy for a small amount of time until it got rebuilt, more people came over, helped, got everything back up and running. You need to really be prepared for a few weeks of stuff in a certain fashion or form, depending on where and how it happened and where you live in comparison to where the hurricane actually hit. So you're going to have a little bit different setup than someone who's planning for a flood who lives next to a dam or something like that. It's still going to be water, it's still going to be, right? But it's going to be different than economic collapse. So I just wanted to say that it's probably a good thing to prepare accordingly to what situation you feel might happen. And then you could also be preparing for anything that goes bad. And that's kind of almost where I was getting to. So then it's good to have a lot of different things. When I first got into all the preparedness, it was because of the economic collapse stuff. And then that got me big into the defensive part of it. Like, oh no, stuff is going to be such chaos. But then you come to find out that if you were preparing or getting ready for like being overrun by marauders or something like that, I got all the defensive stuff. We got extra ammo. We got extra everything. And I've always been like that. I really like it. Okay. If you don't have enough food to get to the first firefight or the 10th, even if you made it through the first few, it's going to be kind of hard. So anyways, that's just the way that I would end up trying to prepare for something. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think and what you would end up doing, what you're preparing for, how you're preparing for it, or what you think may end up happening, whether you've been preparing for it for a long time or you're just starting to change your view a little bit on something crazy that might end up happening. And we'll see you soon.